Welcome to the program. This is What's Your Story? My name is Catherine Mwangi. Thank you for tuning in today. We are at the Acacia Premier Hotel in Kisumu. We've been having stories from this incredible county of the Lake region. And today we are privileged to be sharing the story of the governor of this beautiful place, His Excellency Professor Peter Anyang Nyong'o. I am excited to know what his story is outside of the politics, outside of the economist, the scientist, the political scientist. We just want to know, who is he? What's his personality? What does he like to do? What are his talents? And get to know the soft side, the personal side of this incredible gentleman.
Professor Peter Anyang Nyong'o, a politician and author, is the current governor of Kisumu County. Professor Anyang Nyong'o's political career dates back to 1992 when he was first elected to Parliament. He served as a nominated MP from 1998 to 2002. Between 2003 and 2005, Nyong'o served as the Minister of Planning and National Development and later assigned as the Minister of Medical between 2008 to 2013. Under his leadership, the county of Kisumu has witnessed great transformation with new infrastructural development. The county is rated as one of the cleanest counties, just to mention a few. Little is known about his childhood, his journey in life, and him being an author. Stay tuned as we get to know the man behind the title. Next on Nyong'o.
Welcome to the program. This is What's Your Story? My name is Catherine Mwangi. Glad to be in Kisumu County, and today we have the privilege of having on our program the governor of this county, His Excellency Professor Peter Anyang Nyong'o. Most welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much, Kathy.
We know him as a political scientist, a political maverick. He's a consummate politician. He has served in the areas of leadership and governance in this country. We also know him as a poet, and we will discuss that a bit later. He's looking at me very surprised. But on this program today, we want to go a bit personal, get onto the softer side to things, and understand who is he, what's his personal side, what does he like, what doesn't he like. And before we even get into that conversation, I was reading about you, and I discovered that we share the same birth date.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, you are a Libra.
Yes,
okay.
October the 10th.
Is
it's
that
the first
right?
time I'm interviewing somebody with whom we share the same birth date.
That's interesting.
So this is pretty cool.
Very
I guess
good.
we have similarities. But you're also an author.
Yeah.
And we start with that. You
Okay.
enjoy writing.
Yeah.
So this book, let's
Yeah.
start with this maybe.
Yeah.
A leap into the future. When you're authoring this book, what was its purpose?
Well, I wrote that book after my stint in the Ministry of Planning and National Development.
Okay.
And I had a very interesting experience. All my ideas that I thought about development, we tried to put into practice
Okay.
with my colleagues. And I thought that Kenya was really ripe to leap into the future. My observation when I became minister was that Kenya was a country of great potential, but a disappointing underachiever. The same thing that I observed of this county. So I kind of collected my writings during that period and published them into this book called A Leap into the Future.
Yes.
Which also went back to the days of Tomboya when they did sessional paper number 10, which was a very optimistic document. And I asked myself, why is it that over the last 30 or 40 years since the publication of sessional paper number 10, African Socialism, its application to planning in Kenya, we have not gone as far as we should have. So that book discusses issues related to development and how we can do a Singapore or a Malaysia in Kenya.
Yes. Which year did they say we were at the same level with Singapore?
Well, at an independent, but Singapore is a very poor country. It's a tiny little island with a lot of shanties and poor neighborhoods and so on, slums and so on. And Lee Kuan Yew and his colleagues thought that if they joined together with Malaya into the Malaysian Federation, they would form a big enough political and economic community to make them develop much faster. Well, the Malaysian Federation did not last more than 2 years, and they were kicked out. So when they went back to Singapore, they decided that this is all we've got. We must make use of it and leap into the future. If you are given lemon, you make lemonade.
Yes.
And they did make lemonade out of Singapore.
Yes.
Kenya is a much bigger country, many more resources, highly talented people with a fantastic history. And I thought that we have much more than the Singaporean had in 1963, when we were more or less the same level of development.
Yeah.
And now they are now miles apart ahead of us.
Yes.
And I think we can still do it.
We can catch up.
But we must get our politics right.
Right. It starts there.
Yeah.
You had the opportunity to serve, and successfully so, in two different ministries, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But for now, we are still on the books.
Yeah.
You enjoy writing, don't you?
I do.
Is this how you like unwind?
Yeah, I think, well, look, I grew up as an academic. Not really grew up, but I was I mean, yes, I enjoyed academics, teaching and so on.
Yes.
And thinking about things and putting them down on paper. And that's why for quite a long time I was writing almost every week in the papers. I
Yes.
started in the Daily Nation, I went to
As a
Sunday
columnist,
Nation,
yeah.
I went to the Standard, to Star, and then finally I said, look, let me take a pause for some time and try to consolidate my ideas into books.
Books now.
Yeah.
And this is a huge part of your legacy.
Yeah,
It's in a
yes,
book.
this one. This book is very interesting.
Yes.
This book we put together with my colleagues in the African Association of Political Science. I was then the Secretary General. This book was published in about 1990-91. And we were reflecting on 30 years of independence. You know, most African countries became independent about 1960s and so on. Ghana was the first, really. And we say, what have we achieved in 30 years? So that's what we call 30 years of independence in Africa, the lost decades. Because we thought the decades were really lost.
Yeah.
We didn't do as much as we should have. It's a decade full of military coups, one-party rule, massacres, resurrections, and the only thing we really achieved positively was the liberation of the former Portuguese colonies and South Africa. Indeed, by the time we were writing it, South Africa had not become completely free from apartheid.
Okay.
Yeah, so I remember going to this conference with Bishop Wendy Okulu, and we stopped in Johannesburg for a short time and called our friend, the Secretary General of South African Council of Churches, Frank Chikane, to come and collect us from the airport and go into South Africa for about 8 hours, waiting for our next flight. And it was quite an experience. That was 1960, 1990. To be in South Africa with apartheid there, but with a black community led by people like Frank Chikane, doing pretty well to try and fight against the apartheid regime. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing, amazing book.
Yeah.
And all of these books are available in local bookstores?
They're available. This one is available in local bookstores. This one is also available. This one, I'm not quite sure whether it's available.
Yeah.
This one is available at the foundation, where we published it, at the Heinrich Ball Foundation. I think you can get it at Heinrich Ball Foundation.
Yeah.
I'm not quite. It may be available in the university bookstores. Now, this was very interesting. You know, in 2004, 2003, 2004. You remember at that point in time?
Yeah.
Is when Bouteflika, president of Nigeria, Obasanjo, the president of Nigeria, Abdoulaye Wade, the president of Senegal, and Thabo Mbeki, the president of South Africa, came together and tried and push a new ideology, a new thinking, a new rallying point for African countries to live with the future, as it were. And they came up with this new partnership for development in Africa, NEPAD, or New Partnership for Africa's Development. And NEPAD was quite a good idea, so we came together as scholars and intellectuals to review NEPAD, to find out where it had pitfalls, and to try and see how NEPAD could propel Africa into a higher level of development path. And the result was this book. That was edited by myself, David Alamba, and our friend Azegadesh Girmaizon, who is an Eritrean, then living in Nairobi, German citizenship, who was then director of Heinrich Ball Foundation. Okay. And it was quite a path-breaking book.
Yeah. I believe when all of this was happening, you were also serving in government.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Sure.
And you still had time to participate and engage and write these books.
Yeah.
Where does the time come from?
I don't know where the time comes from, but somehow the time comes.
It just comes.
The time comes. I mean, you have to kind of dedicate some time in the mornings, in the evenings, over weekends,
Yeah.
and write.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just it's a compulsion, really. When I don't write, I don't feel good.
I can identify with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
because
can.
it's clogged. It's clogged in, so you need to release. So it's a release.
Yeah, you kind of get something out of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we come to Professor as a man, it's just, you know, forget the politics, forget the authorship.
Yeah.
What's your personality type?
I don't know. You can tell me. I mean, they say Libras are very contemplative, kind of reluctant sometimes. I don't know. What do you think?
It's the truth. We keep things in. We reflect a lot. We overanalyze.
Yes.
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 So that's you.
I think so. I think so. Kind of that change of skepticism about things, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but optimistic at the
Yes,
same time.
very optimistic.
Yeah,
Yes.
optimistic.
So it's a
I think
conundrum.
it's a dying
Isn't it?
optimism. I think it's an obsession with optimism. Thomas Hobbes, the famous English writer, political thinker, once said that fear and him were born twins. I think optimism and I were born twins.
Born twins, eh? There's always hope. There's always looking at the brighter side to things.
Yeah, there's always there's always some light at the end of the tunnel. as
Yes.
it were.
Yeah. No matter how dark it is.
No matter how dark it is.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, we can relate to that.
Yeah.
So when it comes to your family,
Yeah.
you have obviously children and a wife.
Yeah.
Describe each one with one word, just one word.
I mean, it's difficult.
Why?
I think my wife is very patient. I mean, if she wasn't, I don't think she would have kept up with a difficult family like ours.
Yes.
You see?
Yeah.
My eldest daughter, Zawadi, is kind of somebody who is deeply reflective.
Ah.
Yeah.
She takes after you?
I think so. And she's reflective and extremely creative.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. Lupita is very creative and kind of I would say a meteor. And our daughter, Esperanza Wamoni, is somebody who is very observant. Yeah. Kind of like a detective, you know. Yeah, and the youngest one, Junior, is somebody who is a go-getter, really, a doer.
Yeah.
He's an actor, really, and he's in San Diego graduate school with his wife, Wanja.
Yeah.
Wanja is a musician and he is an actor, and his graduate school, the School of Drama in San Diego, California.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your children have taken after your literal bone, so to speak.
Yeah, because you know, when I was in high school and in college, I was an actor too.
Yes.
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
At Lance High School, we acted a lot of Shakespearean plays.
Yeah.
I remember them sometimes. They just come out like that. Yes.
Does your Hollywood daughter's success surprise you?
I don't think it has surprised us really, because I remember when she was in nursery school, you call it kindergarten.
Yes.
A better word. When it was kindergarten at a place called Waridi Day in nursery school in Westlands, we went to Parents' Day one day, and then the headmistress of the nursery school told us that the junior class, the very first class, are coming on stage to entertain the parents. So we waited, and she was in the junior class. She was kind of a debutante, as it were. So the curtains were drawn, and here comes these little kids. And who was leading them? Lupita. And then they were singing, Sisi wanafunzi, sisa wana waridi, tuinge uwanja, hebu tengeza kidogo, wazazi waone. And she was leading and was tengezing so good. So we just say, well, this kid, she's up to something.
Yeah. You just saw the star right there.
Yeah,
at that stage.
I still remember that morning very well. Yeah.
Has her success impacted yours in any way, socially, politically?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think she's, I mean, when she comes home, she's a kid.
She's just your baby.
She's just a baby,
Yeah.
and she plays with the fellow kids, as it were.
Yeah.
It's just a family thing. So I don't think that thing has gotten into her head. I mean, it's
No.
her career,
No.
her interest, and just like all of them.
Yeah.
Each one of them have an interest. They do it. Yeah.
You must be a very proud parent, just having children well established in their spheres of calling and just soaring. You and your wife, that is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pleasure and it's a gift. It's a blessing, I would say. Of course, we have difficult times here and there, and
Yeah.
that's common in every family, I think.
Yeah.
Every individual have their own good and bad times.
Yes.
And sometimes you have to be very sensitive and very caring during the difficult times. Yeah.
What would you attribute to your lasting marriage to Mama County?
Because I think we care for each other. I do think so. And it's not something that you have to think of. It comes naturally, I would say. And I think it was also part of parental bringing up. Both of us came from families who are very similar.
Okay.
I think my father was an Anglican clergyman.
Yes.
My mother was a farmer. Her father was a teacher, school teacher, high school teacher.
Yeah.
Her mother was a nurse, kind of. But both very family, I think. So I would say that it is that tradition, that inheritance.
Yeah.
That family matters,
Yeah.
family is enjoyable, family is something you belong to.
Yeah.
When you go in the evening, you want to be with family. On weekends, politics take you away, but
There's where to go back
but
to.
you go and you get rooted, as it were.
Yes.
Of course, during Moi times, we went through very difficult times, a lot of strain, but in the end, we overcame that just through the second liberation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also think one of the elements has been managing to keep it private. You
Yeah. Yeah.
just
We
protecting
must
that
protect
space.
the private space. Not I have a feeling that if you expose your family too much to the political environment,
Yes.
it may become more difficult.
Yes.
So they play their role as family, as individuals, but they don't necessarily come bang into the political space. Then you expose them to.
Yeah.
I know people always like to what they actually call kunyokolo. You know what kunyokolo means? To dig for trouble. To dig for trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, so you don't want people to dig for trouble. They try, of course. Sometimes, you know, these days with social media, people pry a lot into other people's private affairs.
Yes.
And sometimes it becomes very painful because
Yes.
if you did it to them, they would feel the pain. But if they do it to you, they don't think you should feel
Yes,
the pain.
exactly. So I think to that, when it comes to how you and Mama County have just protected and preserved the family unit,
Yeah.
high commendations, because what you find happening, especially with children of high caliber politicians in this country, I can only speak for this country, is, you know, you hear and read things about them that make you wonder, okay, I know your parents are in politics, but surely this is a bit embarrassing for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of presumptuous, you know. If a child thinks that because my parent is this, I'm entitled to this.
That entitlement, yes.
That entitlement is disastrous, I
Yes.
think. It's
Yeah.
very disastrous. And it really doesn't make them use their space creatively and enjoy it as them rather than an extension of you. You see what I mean?
Totally get it.
Yeah.
So, Professor, what do you like to eat? What's your
To eat
favorite
fruits.
food? Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Fruits.
Fruits and vegetables, yeah.
That's your favorite
Kambisa.
for as long as you have lived.
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, we grew up looking after cattle, you know, in the villages. Going to school but looking after cattle.
Yeah.
One of the things I really enjoyed about looking after cattle is eating wild fruits. And I remember their names in Luo like nobody's business.
Okay.
You know? And they no longer exist. I don't see Dondira. I don't know what Ndira is in English, but and I grew up eating a lot of mapera, you know, guavas.
Yes, yes.
Guavas grow wild, as it were. People don't realize the value of guavas. Now that they're becoming rarer, we should make sure that we cultivate them. But they're still pretty available here. I love guavas.
Yeah?
And I used to love sugarcane because in our place, sugarcane was very rare. It was found by the rivers. So when we go to, and nobody owned sugarcane those days. You just go by the rivers. Yeah. You just go and cut it up and begin chewing it. And the sun is hot, and you haven't eaten, and chewing sugarcane was a big pleasure, you know. And picking up some other wild fruits. Like, I don't know their names in English, but they are there still, that few in the wild.
Okay.
So growing up and going to university, of course, now you get used to the fruits that you get from the supermarket, as it were.
Yeah.
You know, so in my family, we really love fruit.
Okay.
And of course, maize, roast maize.
Oh, yeah, with that pili pili.
And roast potatoes, you know, sweet potatoes, you know. I mean, we used to, forgive me, but we used to steal some from my mother's garden when you are going to look after cattle. And when you get into the bush, then you make a fire and you roast them. Fantastic meal.
Yeah. Simple life.
Simple life.
Do you miss it?
Yeah, I miss it actually.
Yeah.
When I go home sometimes, going to walk into the garden, I really miss it. There's other things we used to do, but I won't tell you about that.
Okay, why? Just come on. You can't dangle the carrot and just not say.
Those are too private, you know.
Okay. Yeah. The lessons that your parents instilled in you, especially your father, was a canon in the Anglican Church. Yeah. What are those lessons that to date you carry with you?
I think one of the things that I really learned was the fact that work pays. I mean, living by your sweat pays. Don't do work because you must. Do it because you enjoy it. Because the outcome, the result is rewarding. So we studied very hard in school. My brother and I, my late brother Agre, he was 18 months older than me, but we were like twins. And we were always in the same class. And we always compared notes and so on. And we went to the same high school in the end, Alliance High School.
Yes.
I saw something in the papers the other day. I went to the Alliance.
Yes, it is. The D has to be there.
The D has to be there.
Yes,
yes. And so we appreciated that if you work hard on your own, there are rewards in the end, and you make satisfactory life after that. You don't need to depend on somebody else. My father actually, by the time we were in Form 4, let us go. From then on, not a single penny from him.
Wow.
Or from my mom. My mom, of course, sometimes sneaked some
Mothers.
pennies.
Yes, mothers.
But we had to fend for ourselves.
So work pays.
Yeah, so when for example, I remember when I was from Form 3 or Form 4, and my father was here at St. Stephen's Cathedral, then St. Stephen's Pro Cathedral, not yet a cathedral. And my first job was to cut grass at St. Stephen's, keep the compound clean. And the man who was in charge was an Englishman called Archdeacon Stobbold. So gave me a slash. You'll be working here. Your reward is 2 shillings and 50 cents a day.
Which year was this?
I think this was 1964, 65 there.
Wow.
2 shillings and 50 cents a day with tea at 10 o'clock, another tea at 4. And then on weekends, I can take you to see Kisumu Hot Stars playing at the stadium because he was kind of patron of Kisumu Hot Stars. So those were my benefits. There was no pension.
Wow. And the work was cutting grass?
Cutting grass.
The son of the bishop?
Yeah, sure. My father was not then a bishop. He was just, I would say, in charge of the church, pastor. Yeah.
So you see, these are the things about you that are not there. Doesn't matter how much you research, you don't find that.
No, you don't find that.
No.
Yes.
Yet,
those can only come in a biography, I think. Yeah.
Yes. And yet they're the things, as little or as menial as they are, formed this person. The resilience, the tolerance for things. I absolutely love it. What do you hate? What are your pet peeves?
I don't like complaining. You know, Edward Carey Francis, the legendary headmaster, when we went to Lance High School in 1962, that was his last year, so he taught us in Form 1, and that was his last Form 1 class at the Lance High School. He used to say something, grumbling, my boy, is all sin. And that thing stuck in our heads. Don't grumble.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't complain.
Yeah.
Get going. Yeah. Grumbling is all sin. I mean, for example, if we gave you homework and you was teaching us geometry and you come back and you didn't do a proper homework and say, oh, you know, lights went off when I was doing it.
Yeah.
My boy, don't be silly. Grumbling is all sin.
Yeah. So you keep your environment clean from murmuring, complaining, grumbling.
I mean, really, because this, say it straight. I mean, just come, this is but grumbling and backbiting, and it's not good. It spoils the atmosphere, really, of work.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
We'll continue this conversation in a bit.
Yeah.
For now, we take a quick break. Yeah. We'll be back with the governor in a bit.
Acacia Premier Hotel provides fully serviced boardroom facilities such as catering for meetings, providing free high-speed wireless internet to video conferencing, and state-of-the-art audio-visual equipment with an adjacent private meeting room and business center that ensure all your business needs are met. Are you planning for a memorable event, meeting, training, or conference? Acacia Premier Hotel offers extensive meeting and event facilities equipped with the latest system and materials including LCD projector, paper flip charts, CD, DVD player, faster internet access, whiteboards and markers, inbuilt PA system and automatic drop-down projector screens. The Grand Ballroom has a capacity of 600 pax and can break into smaller meeting rooms with a spacious breakout area for buffet setups, cocktails, and healthy breaks. There is also an exquisite boardroom of 12 packs and a lounge.
Welcome back from the break. This is What's Your Story? We have been in Kisumu County for the last couple of weeks, and today we are happy to be having the governor on our program to share his story. And so far we've established the things he doesn't like, which are quite many, but we just spoke about one, which is you don't like murmuring and complaining in your space.
Yeah.
So give me one more.
I don't like being idle, really. My wife complains that I'm a workaholic. I work too much. But I don't, sometimes just being idle bothers me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You can't just sit.
There's a difference between relaxing
and being idle. Huh.
Being idle means that you don't have something to do. You are aimless.
But Your Excellency, for as long as I have been alive, I don't think you have not had anything you're doing. You've been busy.
I know, and that's, I mean, it can also be an obsession, really, I think, because, I don't know, I just grew up like that. I take it from my mother too. My mother is somebody who worked all her life, maybe because we were a family of 11 kids, and my father's salary in the church was not that big, so she had to work to ensure we go to school.
Yeah.
So she was. And she involved us in the work. So I grew up not being idle. I mean, really. So I think it kind of got in my genes, as it were.
No being idle.
No.
So how do you relax other than just penning down papers?
No, well, yes, but I relax too. I mean, I like music.
Oh, which genre?
Zile Zopendwa. That surprises you. And reggae.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
And I would say Black American music I really like. Aretha Franklin and all that.
Okay, yes, the soul, the old soul.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really like, because I went to graduate school in the US and I was in the black community really. I really got into the black African American culture.
Yes.
It's something I grew up in as a graduate student. Still young, really. And made lots of friends. We are still friends up to this very day.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy that. And they are singing in church. Southern Baptist Church.
Oh,
I mean, really that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the melody. So music I love.
Okay.
Very much.
I like that. So
in fact, I used to play with a friend of mine in a band.
You were you are a band?
It's a kind of small private band.
It doesn't matter, it's still a band.
It's still a band, yes, but him and his wife passed on. And then we lost it. But we used to get together every now and again at parties, and he plays and I sing. I've tried to learn the guitar, but not very successfully.
Do you play any instrument?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, when I was in high school, I started learning the piano, but the time for the lessons was so awkward.
Yeah.
Sunday morning at 7:30, so I gave it up. So I always associated playing the piano with early morning rising on Sunday. So I never did that.
Yeah.
So I still have the ambition of learning how to play the guitar.
Okay. What's its fascination?
I mean, I just like seeing people playing guitar. I mean, the sound of guitar. I like music. I mean, I like the melody. So if I can sing and play the guitar as well,
Yeah.
it would be. I mean, when I see those people holding the guitar like this,
Yeah.
it looks good. Eh?
You want to do that?
I mean, it gets into your soul. Eh? It's rewarding, and I would like to be in a position to do that.
Yeah, and feel that.
And feel that.
Got it.
You know,
Got it. So how old is your oldest friendship, and with whom?
My oldest friendship is my wife, actually, I would say.
Oh, is it?
At this point in time. But no, I've had older friendships with my people
Yeah.
we are in high school with, and we did things together. I mean, we still meet and have lunch and talk on phone and share jokes. I mean, there are things that we did as young men which we still remember.
Yeah.
There are quite a number. Really.
Okay.
So, I wouldn't say this is the oldest, but quite a group of people that we were in high school with.
Yeah.
We may not necessarily been in the same high school, but we still get together. And for Dr. Frank Njenga, for example,
Oh, I see.
who was an actor like myself.
He was an actor.
He acted Brother Jero in the trials of Brother Jero, so I always call him Brother Jero, you see. And he also calls me Brother Jero. I never acted Brother Jero, but it's a common name. You know how friends share names.
Yes.
You know?
Okay.
And my late friend was my best man, Elijah Chisaina. We used to call each other Obongis. Don't ask me what that means, but you know, things like those. You
Okay.
see. Yeah.
What value have such friendships brought into your life?
I mean, friendships are good because they make you kind of a human being. You know, when you have some problems, you can pick up a phone and call up a friend, and you know you can talk to them freely.
Yeah.
You can, you know, kind of open your heart to them, and share some difficult moments. You know, my friend Mike Shege, who we taught at the University of Nairobi, we still discuss academics and so on, but also really personal things.
Yeah.
So you remain.
How do you distinguish the real ones from the fake? How do you know this one is in my life for keeps and not because of who I am or what I can give them?
I mean, those are easy to find, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see, when does somebody call you? When they are in trouble, or they call you just because they want to talk. So when somebody calls you consistently only when they are in trouble, then you know this is a fair weather friend, you know. I mean, you get into trouble, yes, but then if you get into the habit of always calling a friend when you are in trouble, then you know you kind of use areas.
Yes. So that's one of the ways to identify.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. So the last time we saw you on the trends, it was at the funeral of your friend.
Joe Nyaga.
Yes.
Joe is another friend, you know. We were in high school together. And then I became his best man when he got married.
Yeah.
Then I became the godfather of his eldest son and so on. So there was a lot of ties that bound us together.
But actually that's what it was, the ties that...
ties that bind.
Yes.
Yes.
Man, that piece.
Yeah.
That's when we knew you were a poet.
Yeah.
Because so that was a whole poem.
Yeah.
And you could tell it was coming from a very deep place. Do you write poetry?
I used to write poetry, you know, and I got some published, but something happened, you know, when I was at University of Nairobi, and we had those problems with Moi, and then we had to migrate to Mexico with my family, my young family. We only had a daughter then, my eldest daughter. And then I left my stuff behind in my house. My sister was then a student at the University of Nairobi, took care of them. Then, of course, the university repossessed their house. And then my things had to be bundled together and taken to my brother-in-law's place, some to my father-in-law's place. And then I had a lot of poems which I'd drafted, I still remember. There are some that I used to work with the schools broadcasting of the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, KBC,
Yeah.
which later became Voice of Kenya. And some were recorded at the schools broadcasting. I always think that I should go and try and retrieve them. But then when these poems disappeared, I kind of lost the spirit of writing poems. It's very interesting. It's very dramatic. Even when I was in Mexico, but I just lost it.
Yeah.
I never recovered because of the association of writing poems with the repression under Moi. So I said, look, rather than write poems, let me write hard stuff now.
Yeah. But I think it was kind of resurrected, permit me to say, at the funeral of your friend.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, yes, it's poetic, rendered in a poetic version.
So, since you became governor, and yes, you've had a beautiful life in public service in the midst of so much change and shift, and you've contributed to the second liberation in this country. And then now you decided to bring all of that home here in Kisumu County. And you've had lots of successes with the people of Kisumu County. But what to you is most notable? And let me also say this to you, we are used to, like what you had said earlier about social media. So people just are very presumptuous. People make the assumption that, oh, what's happening there? We can't see anything. But the development is there. If you're looking for it, you find it. So could you elaborate for us? So just tell us some of the success stories that you have enjoyed in serving the people of this beautiful place.
Development has an incubation period. Yeah, incubation is that you do things which will flower subsequently. People will then begin seeing the results, the impact subsequently. When you are doing them, capital works. Well, what is this? What difference does it make? It makes a difference, but maybe you cannot realize it now. Okay, when you see that people can now go to work and arrive in the office and they don't need to shine their shoes, they feel they're decent, they go to work straight, they're more productive. See what I mean?
Yeah.
And when people feel, well, I can go work home because it's safe, it's nice and so on, they are exercising. That's good for their health,
Yeah.
Because they're sitting in the office the whole day. They go to office, jump on a matatu or a motorbike, back to their door. They go home, they begin cooking, whatnot, going to bed. They have not exercised.
Yeah.
But if you create an environment where they can exercise by walking home, it makes a lot of difference. And maybe they see it eventually. Secondly, the urban environment, people don't realize, it's a very hostile environment because it's very different from the rural environment. The rural environment, there's greenery everywhere. And when you're walking from one home to the other, you're walking on a path, a very narrow path, So your interaction with people is very intimate.
Yeah.
In a city, it's somebody walking here, nobody talks to each other. You are going, so you lose human interaction in an urban area. Where in the rural areas, human interaction is always there. You don't realize it, but it's a lot of impact on your humanity, on your being.
Yes.
Your utu. So you try and create some rural experience in the urban areas by creating parks where people can go and be intimate in a green environment, natural and so on, breathe fresh air.
Yeah.
Parents can go out and take their kids there on weekends or whatever. It makes a difference.
Yeah.
So when you're doing it, people may not appreciate it instantaneously. That shouldn't stop you from doing it. When I tell the traders here, look, when I was campaigning, I didn't understand how they can just trade on the streets, put their goods on the streets. When it rains, it's havoc. If there's a demonstration, it's havoc. People passing by, blowing dust into whatever they're,
Yeah.
So when you say, look, let's do you commercial center or a market where you have safety of commodities, you can lock them up.
Yeah.
It's a much better way of doing business because you don't have to carry these things home when you finish, and you can meet with thieves and lose them. you are much more likely to increase your capital in a place like this than on the streets. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So to begin with, but if I go to the, I will pay rent and so on, but it pays.
Yeah.
Because that rent is what you pay for the safety and security of your commodities, and for the certainty that your client will find you in the same place 2 weeks from now.
Yes.
On the street, they're not quite sure of finding you.
Yeah.
So you see, we are building for the future. Again, when I was at Makerere University College, the university had a motto on the main hall, Pro futuro edificanos, which is Latin, meaning for the future we build.
Ah.
So I think development should be building for the future.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that people now don't enjoy it, but yes, you will get benefit, but much more so if the future begins tomorrow. The future is not the distant future. The future is tomorrow, the day after tomorrow,
Yeah.
kutwa, as it were.
Yeah.
So, instantaneous rewards, if people are looking for instantaneous reward in the enterprise of development, they become enemies to themselves. Yeah. Really, even in a family, parents make sacrifices by sending their kids to school. The hope is that when they finish school, they will be settled on their own. That's good for parents because you get satisfaction that their children can now prosper on their own. But also there's always an expectation that my child in my old age will be part of my insurance.
Yes.
Yeah.
I get you. So how difficult or easy is it to shift mindsets of a whole community to be in line with that thinking, that vision?
It's not really difficult.
Okay.
But it is, you must understand this, there must be persistence. In Luo we have a word, a phrase called Kinda Eteko, which the Luo Thrift and Trading Corporation, which people like Yaramongi used as their motto. Kinda Eteko means determination is strength. And then they also had another word, Sinani Elweni. Sinani Elweni means resoluteness is the essence of struggle.
Okay.
Kinda Eteko, determination is strength. Resoluteness is the essence of struggle. So you must be determined and resolute. Because you are in a struggle. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
If we were not resolute when we were engaged in the second liberation, we would not have succeeded because there were many terrible obstacles.
Yes.
But we were determined under thick and thin. I remember in 1988, a friend of mine calling me to a cafe and telling me that we want you to stand in the next election, parliamentary election. In Kisumu Rural, I said, I will never stand for parliamentary election so long as we have a one-party system. But he said, this one-party system is going to be here for 100 years, so don't worry about your 100 years. I have made up my mind that we must struggle against this one-party system. Of course, within a matter of 3 years, Section 2A was removed. The guy was thinking that Kanu will be in power for the next forever. So you really must be determined and resolute if you want to achieve something.
Yeah. What must the young people do in this nation, now it's bigger now at a national level, to move out of that self-entitlement that we spoke about earlier?
I think one of the things the young people must do, and it's a culture that is growing in this country, which I think is very dangerous. Instantaneous satisfaction is very dangerous. That, look, I don't have money, I must have it now, by any means necessary. Then you really will not learn the art of investment. You know, hurry does not get you anywhere.
Incubate.
We are building a place here in Kisumu. It's almost complete. 98% complete. We call it Kisumu Center for Business Incubation and Innovation. Because I do realize that what our people with fantastic ideas in this city. I mean, by the way, if you go to the Joaquali sector, you will not believe it. The entrepreneurial potential of these people, the imagination.
Yeah.
And some of the young people have started here what they call hubs, Lake Hub, for example.
Yes.
Led by James Odede.
Yes.
I mean, fantastic ideas, but we as a government must create a milieu, an environment, a space where all these people with great ideas can incubate those ideas and innovate, you know. Even in music, you know, this area is known for great musicians.
Yes.
But some of them are not being able to go too far because that space to incubate and innovate is not there. They need to go and play in a club and earn money, go back, pay their rent. So the hustle and bustle of life of having to go to a club and play every night, and sometimes they're not paid very well, they get tired, and after some time say, what use is it? Let me do another thing. But then they have this fantastic opportunity.
Your Excellency, as we wind up, what do you want your legacy to be?
I tell you what, you know this book that we did, was it last year or the year before, when we launched it? 2019, eh? Well, it's a collection of essays that are written over some time, aimed at one thing, trying to put into perspective what kind of system of government we have in this country. And I wrote it with the idea that it should be part of a debate before the elections. And it was called Presidential or Parliamentary Democracy in Kenya. Choices to be made. I hope that in the end we shall make a choice in this country. To have a parliamentary system of government. Because I think in the kind of society we are in, culturally diverse, ethnically diverse, very, very dynamic politically, with a bubble of ideas, you know, with commitment to freedom and human rights and all that. The best system of government parliamentary, because it provides an atmosphere of debate in parliament, tolerant of diverse views, and those whose views are most attractive to the electorate during elections then can form government because they've been given mandate to do so. And run away for this monetized politics. Because this monetized politics, highly monetized politics, is just corruption based, if you ask me. And I do hope that maybe several years from today, 30, 40 years from today, when we are all gone, we will move away from this and embrace parliamentary democracy. I mean, look, if you read the history of Great Britain, they went through the same thing. The rotten boroughs, for example. It was the same thing, but it matured. The US is still going through it. The US, contrary to what people say, to me, is not a mature democracy. It's a democracy still looking for its correct high pedestal in parliamentary politics. Too much dominated by big business, you know, and very, 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 very negligent of lower level society, poor people and so on. You know, the Indians, for example, in the reserves, were the original people in the US, but there are a majority which is now minoritized, just like women. So I really think that, but a parliamentary system of government, historically, has always given space to diverse people in society, voices being heard, and decisions being made in a much more democratic manner than we are seeing in the US or here, for example.
So that's your dream and your hope.
That's my dream. I hope that book will be a legacy.
That
those debates will be taken seriously in decision making.
Has it been a rewarding journey for you?
I think it has been. I don't regret it.
I was going to ask that, any regrets? So you just answered that already. No regrets.
I don't regret it at all.
I
think, like Amika Cabral said, we have done our best in the context of our time.
I love it.
I think I've done my best in the context of our time. I mean, our times have been difficult, but we have done our best.
I love it.
We may not have succeeded in our goal, like having a parliamentary system of government, but I don't regret it. At least we leave a trail, we leave a legacy, we leave a culture of debate, we leave a presence of ideas that may be useful to those who come after.
I like it. What are you currently reading, by the way?
I'm currently reading, what do I say, ancient philosophy. Because it was the foundation of many ideas. And I'm also reading ancient theology. Because I kind of felt, let me go back to the foundation. Religion has always been important in people's life. Whether in traditional African society, they have a religion. And some people have studied that religion. And some of it has survived to this very day. But the evangelicals, whether in Catholic, Catholic Church or whatever, or just rising up and so on, they are very many. And I'm wondering why.
And the answer may be in the foundations.
The answer may be from the beginning. What was even in the old Bible, when they condemn certainly, the Babylonians are heretics and so on.
Yeah.
From whose perspective, it fascinates me.
Yeah. I'm just fascinated listening to you talking about it, and I'm not even the one reading the book. But thank you for making the time. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you.
And to you watching, thank you so much for also making the time to tune into this conversation on What's Your Story. Today we were privileged to have the Governor of Kisumu County, His Excellency Professor Peter Anyang Nyong'o. We hope you have gleaned something from this conversation. And if you have, let us know, 22840. We also thank the management of Acacia Premier Hotel here in Kisumu for hosting us. Asanteni sana. Have a blessed week.
Acacia Premier Hotel provides fully serviced boardroom facilities such as catering for meetings, providing free high-speed wireless internet to video conferencing, and state-of-the-art audio-visual equipment with an adjacent private meeting room and business center that ensure all your business needs are met. Are you planning for a memorable event, meeting, training, or conference? Acacia Premier Hotel offers extensive meeting and event facilities equipped with the latest system and materials including LCD projector, paper flip charts, CD, DVD player, faster internet access, whiteboards and markers, inbuilt PA system and automatic drop-down projector screens. The Grand Ballroom has a capacity of 600 pax and can break into smaller meeting rooms with a spacious breakout area for buffet setups, cocktails, and healthy breaks. There is also an exquisite boardroom of 12 packs and a lounge.